Hey all, I know, Master do crazy stuff right now, but I went back to it cause play Yu-Gi-Oh, played it a bunch, and having kinda fun, but obviously by my rating and all that stuff, I'm not taking it very seriously. I'm only playing it super casually because I like in-person Yu-Gi-Oh a lot better. So the only thing I really have is I have like two replays I wanted to show, mainly just to like analyze, see the field, see what I grasp from it, and then hopefully learn a lesson along the way. So let's get started. So we have our first replay right here, and I'm gonna be playing one of my all-time favorite decks, Branded. So let's see it and see how it went. Alright, so I'm starting with Lost into Deployment, get Cartesia again, that makes sense. And then I'm fusing probably into our fusion, yep. Grand Guignol, and then Lost triggers and Grand Guignol. So I'm basically setting up a pseudo loop, okay, yep. And then we get the kit. Kit is important because we can get branded fusion that way. Yep. Get branded, put back Albaz, see ya buddy. And now I fuse with her, yeah, because now we're going into Lubellion, right? And now we're discarding our Maxi. In reality, I probably should have done a different play rather than discarding Maxi, but it's fine. Not the best field for this deck, but it doesn't matter because we got Lava Golem, so F in the chat. And looks like they're on the Dia Bellstar deck. So that one's kinda spooky because that deck can easily play a ton. Alright, so we went into the Despia one because it can float while they're establishing their play. Okay, let's see what they go into. Okay, they fuse with her into the new fusion. Well, not new, but the bigger one. They bring back the main deck one, which is kinda annoying. I really don't like that, but whatever. Okay, so they shuffle back, they get back the Holo Azamina, and now I float into Aluber. Let's go, hi Aluber. And I get my own brand fusion again, and then they hit their floodgate, and now I wipe the board because of his effect. But first, resolving some stuff. Yep, there we go. Alright, what's next for me? I normal summon, and now I go into the fusion, and they declare Albion. That is really weird to declare, but I guess they want to restrict some plays further. Then we go into Masquerade, makes sense. Alright, they fuse into the Saint, and then the Saint can bring out another fusion into the negate one, but I can just attack over it, so it's not that threatening. And then they get another Sinful Spoil, alright. Okay, now we go into the branded fusion, and looks like we're going to, Lubellion again. That makes the most sense. So Lubellion, discard, and then trigger Tragedy to get the Luber. Oh no, we're getting Quem. Honestly, Quem's probably better here because it gives me longevity. Then we go to the Mirror Jade, very good. Get rid of her, again, really good. We get Fusion Deployment, so that one's also good for a follow-up play because I can call Albaz. Okay, so now they're basically trying, and then who are they declaring? Mirror Jade. I already used Mirror Jade, so that part is not that necessary, honestly. Okay. So they're resetting, and then they're activating it, and they're doing it on Mirror Jade again. Again, I don't really get that play, cause like Mirror Jade doesn't threaten unless they know something I don't, if I use the next turn or whatever. Okay, they get the card backer, then they activate it using the set card and the card in hand to go into the new gal. Again, makes sense. Okay. And now they're gonna wipe out some of my field, but I don't think I'm threatened very much because I have a lot of floating guys. Yep, a Luber float, Masquerade floats. That's why I really like this little package in branded. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and then obviously that's negated because of a Luber. Love you very much. And then they attack, and I live. Very, very good stuffer. Okay, they set hurt, and now I just need to find lethal. So let's see. Okay, I can set Branded Fusion again. Yep. And then they pop the card. So I'm going maybe that play. Get. Yep. And now they fuse into the new synchro. But it doesn't matter, cause like I can just fuse with it anyway. Yeah, they go into Vengeance, but I can fuse with the Vengeance anyway. So that line was like stopped easily. Then there's Titanclad, we love it. And now we bring back Mirror Jade, because all of brand stuff is good, and we attack for game. So what did we learn from like this play and this line like that they took? I think honestly the number one thing you can take is just knowing how you can like play and adapt to the field that you're seeing, basically, right? Cause like in that game, what we saw is like their field or their board or whatever getting easily dismantled by like honestly not even like supreme plays on my part. That was mainly just the branded deck having already established its sort of loop, and me being able to fusion summon every turn, summon all my monsters every turn, you know, summon them back from grave, that sort of thing. And what is it like? After they already did all their fancy plays, you know, they tried to summon the synchro, they summoned the main deck Diabel, all that stuff. After like they already did that once, they never really threatened me too hard. So overall, I think the main thing that I learned from analyzing this replay is just the fact that in some of these games, you need to have a certain mindset when going into it or playing a match, where you don't have to win precisely because you supremely beat them in their plays. It's more like you just have a basic plan that is easily followed through. Like my plan was just activate Branded's fusion, establish my graveyard materials, and get the follow-up necessary. And then if I can do that repeatedly, I should be able to win the game. And that's what we saw there. So overall, I'd say the number one thing I should just take out is no matter the game, you should always have your main game plan in your head and try to follow it as best as possible. That is the lesson. So that was the first pre-play with Branded. Let's go on ahead and see the second one right now. Now we have our second replay for the day. Once again, let's do the same exercise again, analyze it, and see what we have. So it looks like they're going first. It looks like I'm playing an Artemisia deck. Again, not the best deck in the long shot, but like I like it, so here we go. It looks like they're on Life Twin. Right, yeah. Life Twin is kind of annoying because they can jam a lot of cards into it. Okay, so now they're just establishing that loop of like the Light Twin thing, and we see they have Fiendsmith, a very popular engine, and this is the one time I use Valor, specifically because it's not a Life Twin, Evil Twin card. Alright, so we cut off the Fiendsmith access that way, so let's see how we do forward. Okay, so they summon her, so now they can go into the other link and summon her back, but they don't get a draw, so at least that's a positive. Alright, let's see what they do forward, and then they bring her back. Okay, so they can go into the link 4, and it is the Evil Twin link 4. And they're already using it, so that's what they are establishing on the field for us to like analyze. Alright, so they get their draw that way, and now they use our tactics to draw 2 more, so, and they draw Fiendsmith. So we see some of the capabilities of their deck as soon as they're able to like get cards and draw. So good on them. Alright, so now they have already established the Fiendsmith line. So now let's see what they go into. They shuffle their links back, so they're probably going into the, yep, that Fiendsmith, bringing back, linking 4 again. So what link 4 is it? A bow, again, a very popular one. Okay, so that's good because they can establish the material. So now they're going to their 4 into Griffin, a very punishing like field to see. Okay, so now they're establishing Griffin online and they're using their fielder. They reset tactics. Fiendsmith comes back. Alright. Going to potentially a link 3? No, they're going to a link 2. Into the Unchained line. Yeah. That's another popular thing you see sometimes in the deck. Pop it. Again, alright, so the tactics is gone, but they go into the Soul of Rage. Alright, so this is their fool. Quite scary, so let's see how I do it. Alright, I start with this to get Medius. Love you, Medius. Alright, I get Cartesia online, and then we do that. And now, I use the alternative summon condition to actually get him online. So it is a very weird way to go about it, but we do the line. They go into SP. Now I get the field spell online, which is honestly like the best thing. Alright, so we go into Gufflair or Grufflair. We get that. And now I attack SP. Makes sense. We like attacking her because, we established that she's gone. And now I use the grave effect of the trap to pop the floodgate, which opens my deck up to start doing plays. So Litera gets back the spell, and now they have their little burn stuff, which is kind of annoying, but not the worst. Medis comes back, okay, basically just to turn on Fine Melt's effect. Okay, and then we just negate, even though that negation doesn't really matter too much. So this is what we have on board. I think they tried to enter battle phase, but that part doesn't really do anything. And now we go into the fusion again, but this time we can use its effect. Yep, and since I already have everything I need, I can just use his effect to blow up the field. There we go. And that's it. That's all they could do. So now all I have to do is just, get the field again, all that stuff. And now we basically just have lethal on board. Just with the power of Archmage and a funny field spell. And that's the end of the game. This one went by a lot quicker, but again, I see why I captured it. Cause from what I analyzed and what I had to deal with, it was mainly just them having an already established field. They already had their Griffin online. They had their the Lynx, the Evil Twins. They had a Nightmare, not Nightmare, it was the Unchained Link 2 to go into potentially a lot of links, but we saw it was mainly SP or whatever. And that's what they basically had on the first turn. And that seemed like it was more of a deal with this sort of field that you see a lot when you play a Master Duel, where they establish a main field, a main setup, and they go, alright, this is my board, try and out it. And if you out it, I probably lose. So all I had to do in my head and my mind is basically just go, alright then, how do I navigate myself around this board? And it was, I don't want to say it was too hard to analyze, but it was tricky because Archmage is one of those decks that you need to establish several things. It's mainly the field spell and a card you can discard, like a spell trap, basically. Because once you get that, you sorta can establish your loop. And so what I did was I used my battle phase to try and clear out their most important threat. So take out their links when I can, use the trap to take out the Griffin. Because once Griffin was off the field, I was able to summon a lot of monsters, establish my field again, be aggressive, that sort of thing. So I think the main thing to analyze is just if you are able to, even in this replay, not fully dismantle a field. It was mainly just dealing with it enough in a way where you can make a push, establish your own field, and then you can play a back and forth with your opponent then you can like leverage that lead or your small like plays into a game plan, into a win condition. And what we saw here was mainly just during the third turn when it was back to them. They didn't really do a lot of things, a lot of stuff to re-establish control. So I think mainly from this replay is what you learn is depending on the platform or where you play sort of stuff, that sort of dictates what you will see and what you will have to deal with. And the main thing is that sometimes you don't really have to like beat someone like right then and there immediately. All you need to do is like play your deck a little bit, have your plays there, and once you have them, then that's usually enough to win a game, especially online. Because at that point, most people are just like, they got through my board, I don't want to play this game any further, I'll just let them win and scoop it up, that sort of thing. So it's mainly just having the right mindset when going into a game, having the right mindset and just taking it further. And it obviously depends on like what you do or what you want. If you want to win and you seriously mean it, then you have to take that mindset going into the game so you don't run into situations like these again, where they probably did have a line to get control back, to re-establish their field, make some kind of comeback, some kind of opposing field. But they didn't. And that gave me my win. So that's basically what we have or what we learned from that replay. So now, let's just move on to the end, shall we? And those were the replays. Again, 2 replays, kinda short, not like too in depth or too much to analyze, but I really just wanted to analyze the plays, see the lines, and see what I had to deal with, that sort of thing. And what we mainly took on, or what we mainly grasp, is just the fact that, especially in games like these, that are mainly in the online realm, not like playing offline, that sort of thing. Because when you play offline, you deal with a lot of factors and you have a lot more considerations. And online, you kind of don't. You can play a lot more free. You can play on the toilet even. You get the idea. So that dictates like your opponents, what they do, the fields that they have, the sort of opposition that you will have to deal with. And mainly, the main lesson, honestly, out of all this is just when you play, just have the right mindset going in. Honestly, because if you don't, you will catch a lot of losses that honestly you shouldn't have, or they shouldn't come at you if you're prepared. So be prepared, be analytical, and hopefully you can get some W's. And thank you all for watching this video. Very weird uploading a video like this, but hey, gotta try stuff, you know? Catch you all around, gamers. Peace.